Check.
Yeah. Booby traps in Vietnam.
Yeah.
I had to turn the mics on because we're
Okay.
Mark is tell everyone
We-
what you're talking about.
Yeah, we
Welcome to
do. I think we
Foolosophy.
do this every time. We get into this elaborate conversation, and then we're like, yeah, we should probably be recording this.
Let's start.
So, to preface, everyone has anxieties about things, things that you're like fearful of, or just go, you have to go shopping and you don't want to deal with a crowd. You're like, fuck this. So one of the things I do is I'm claustrophobic, and I used to have recurring dreams of being like a soldier in Vietnam, it possibly in a past life type of thing. Anyway, so what I do, flash forward, is like on the road or I'm getting ready to do a show or some type of thing that's giving me anxiety, I will go on YouTube and I would watch spelunking videos, basically where these very skinny white guys will go and just crawl through tunnels that are half filled with rocks. Sometimes they've got spiders, all kinds of shit. And then that kicked my curiosity about the whole past life as a soldier. Then I started looking up information about what they call tunnel rats. And during the Vietnam War, the tunnel rats would navigate these tunnel systems that the Viet Cong created, and that was the navigation system that they used to sneak up on U.S. soldiers. Hundreds and hundreds of miles, possibly thousands of miles of underground tunnel systems that still reside. A lot of them have been like filled in, but there's still some. Now they're like tourist traps, where they actually have tourists like they could go. They cleared out.
Go into the tunnels.
Yeah, they cleared out.
I want to go to Vietnam. It's supposed to have good.
Oh,
food.
dude, I watched videos of that. I'll have to show you after we're done recording. But yeah, so it was just the job of the tunnel rat was to basically find the tunnel system, and then they got sent in, and I shit you not, with just no shirt, a flashlight, and a gun. That's it. That's fucking all they got sent in
so
with.
Badass.
Yes, just and they would just crawl through and basically clear out the tunnels. And the problem was
just make sure it's clear. So for
and they had the highest mortality rate of any soldier, any branch, any particular division.
Will this shit just collapse on them, or?
Oh, there was that. There was booby traps.
Yeah, so you said booby traps, and I said stop immediately because booby traps are what's more fun than a booby trap? And you think of it as I think of it as like Goonies, but this is probably
Home Alone.
I don't know what. So what are the Viet Cong?
Dude, the Viet Cong booby traps.
Let's hear about them.
I mean,
probably worse than the Goonies.
Well, I don't worse than the Goonies, but I don't know. Kevin McAllister might rival. He was pretty sadistic. Home Alone kid.
Stepping on the ornaments.
That's very, very similar. Because some of the booby traps a lot of them involved pits of some sort.
Okay.
Like they would dig out a pit and then cover it with like brush, but it was like weight sensitive. And
so just enough coverage?
Just enough drop, and you drop onto little spikes.
Punji sticks, right?
Punji sticks, yeah. Sharpened sticks, and there were a lot of times just for added fucking torture, they would cover it in feces. So you were like almost ensured infection. Most of them weren't even to kill you; they were just to. Because they knew
fuck you up.
Well, they also, if you have a soldier who's impaled on a thing, he's still alive. The job of the other soldiers is and so you're focusing your time and effort and energy on this, and then it gives them an opportunity to sneak up and do shit because now you just give away your position, and so
God, that's brilliant.
Oh my God, no. So that's
brilliant and it's awful.
That's the crazy thing about the Vietnam War and why it was so insane. That the U.S. soldiers essentially lost Vietnam War was if you compare what the Viet Cong and North Vietnamese soldiers had as far as weaponry and resources compared to the U.S., it wasn't even comparable. It wasn't comparable. It was like how like when they were saying that like soldiers were getting fucked up in like Afghanistan. Yeah, and it was like Shane Gillis has a bit about that where he's talking about like, just his ex-girlfriend or his current girlfriend, her ex is a Navy SEAL, so he was like his normal thing to do with like boyfriend.
The Navy SEAL versus
he's like talking shit.
Al-Qaeda?
Yeah. He's like talking.
Really
I mean, Navy SEALs is kind of a coward if you think about it. Sneaking up
really
guys.
funny.
You know, he's like, you know who's brave? Al Qaeda. Fucking
He
in
goes like-
sandals throwing rocks at tanks.
yeah,
You know?
he says they're fighting in pajamas.
Yeah.
That's a great line.
They're talking about the monkey bars.
Yeah,
But I mean,
yeah, they're
but
proud of their monkey bars. That's
but
a fucking good. Yeah,
but
he's like boiled down. It's like high school jock humor,
yeah,
which is like some of the hardest you'll laugh in your life.
yeah,
You know, like that, and he's like captured that, or he's like Kenny Powers from
yeah.
Eastbound and Down.
But with hints of like genius. It's weird.
Oh yeah, no, he's
Yeah, it's just a
he's
weird-
yeah. I'm a big fan of his, but it's interesting. He like
He's a self-aware jock. if that
yeah
makes sense.
yeah
Like he's all those tropes of that dude, that type of guy, but also self-aware.
yeah
He knows there's a problem, but he's also realized that with that mindset, there's so many things that he can find funny because those guys think a certain
that's
way.
the beauty of that
Yeah.
mindset is you're able to mock everything, and everyone will be like, oh, he just says everything's gay.
Yeah.
But like it's funny, and it's sort of essential is like if you're a comedian to be able to laugh and make fun of everything. Like you should be able to, you know.
Yeah,
And whatever because I feel like so much of comedy got divided, and it's got like you can make fun of this but not this kind of deal.
yeah.
That's boring, but I mean, you
Yeah.
know, it's good to laugh at everything.
But Al Qaeda, Al Jazeera, ISIS, all of those, any outmanned rebel unit group, the guerrillas in Panama or whatever, all of those, they strive to be the Viet Cong. The Viet Cong were, you know, like the German, like the Nazis and the Japanese army during World War II, they had similar fighting power. They had, probably in Germany's case, probably way more intelligent not scientists in their corner, to the point where you got to think about it. Albert Einstein's an Austrian. He's German. He's a German scientist.
Yeah.
Lot of the
Was Einstein Jewish? Is that a Jewish name? I guess
he
it
was.
is.
I think he came to the United States after World War One, but before World War Two. But also
Hey,
a lot.
some of them came after World War II.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Also, Project Paperclip or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Well, then also there was
And
what is it? The Argentinian, the whole bunch of Nazis in Argentina.
yeah, I think they
there's
have like a community. They have like a little
huge community.
German town.
Yeah, huge community. But the thing is like, damn it, I forgot where I was going with this.
Oh, like rebel groups. They all
Yeah,
strive to be
they
like
all
Viet
strive to
Cong.
be the Viet Cong, like because, like I said, the German armies, the Japanese armies, they had.
Well, the Germans were before World War II was all that before the Viet Cong.
yeah, no, I mean I'm talking about as far as fighting powers against the United States.
Oh yeah.
As far as having comparable resources, comparable money, comparable.
yeah. Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, even in the Korean War, still comparable. Viet Cong, it was like, we're just gonna go in there and we're gonna just destroy. That was the mindset. We took what we needed to learn from World War II, but the thing was they were expecting an army to fight them on
Head
land,
on,
face
yeah,
to
like,
head
yeah.
to head. You know, so they dealt with a primitive group of people essentially, that were just unbelievably clever and creative. I mean, it was just like Asian Kelvin McAllisters from Home Alone, just a whole army of them, just fucking
Kelvin McAllister.
Kelvin. Yeah,
He's like the scientist version of the Home Alone kid.
fucking.
No, I know what you mean though, but they use their environment to their advantage,
Yeah.
and they the jungle, you know, and it's foreign. I think that's such an interesting and nightmarish scenario.
Yeah.
Imagine being over there and having to fight that, like you're a soldier and you're in the jungle and you're like being ambushed and you're like, because you can't really see anything. Oh, well, at least how it's depicted in the movies. It's like you're getting attacked from all around and you can't see
Yeah,
who's attacking you or what's attacking you. It's just bullets flying at you.
Yeah.
And it's just leaves rustling. You
Yeah.
know, like little tropical leaves.
yeah,
I mean, like, I'd be like Predator, probably.
yeah,
Probably like that, you know?
yeah. I mean, except they were way smaller.
Yeah. Yeah, grab each other's arms and flex.
Yeah,
Yeah, small Predator.
small predator.
But yeah, what other booby traps do they have?
So
Punji sticks, pits.
lot of pits. A lot of pits. Pits were the biggest one. They would have in the tunnels. They would have like dead ends created specifically to throw off the tunnel rats.
Okay.
So they would have like they would have this one way, and there would be a secret way to get to where you need to go, but the open way would be like, oh, let me follow this tunnel, and now tunnel rats following this fucking one tunnel system. I don't know, 50 yards underground, on elbow crawling through that shit,
Yeah.
just to get to a dead end, and then he turns back, and then he ends up in another pit, and there's like fucking snakes and scorpions,
Oh
like shit like that. Like,
man.
yeah, it was a like a
Could you
lot
imagine being like like there's times in life when you're like, I can't believe this is really happening. Like this is
Yeah.
it's surreal kind of times. Imagine being in a tunnel in Vietnam and you're crawling for all that time. You're probably exhausted, and you're like, I'm probably gonna make it out though because I've been going for so long.
Yeah.
Surely this goes somewhere, and then you just hit a dead end like that.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
has to be like a real low. It's got to be like when you run out of Coke Zero or something.
And then there was like tripwire type things.
Yeah.
So like basically if they were like stationed here and they knew that the United States soldiers are navigating their tunnel system here, they know that here is too close to where they need to be, as far as the Viet Cong goes. So they would set up tripwire stuff. So basically tunnel around, oh, what's that over there? And then not paying attention, boom, fucking there's a grenade. Cave in, blows them up.
So what would it be, like a wire that was attached to a grenade pin?
Yeah, essentially
And
like
so
that.
it would like just
yeah.
pull the pin by.
Or in some cases the pin's already pulled, but there's like a piece of wood, literally suppressing the activator of the grenade.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
like real sensitive.
You're real sensitive, and then as soon as it's tripped, boom, it's done.
God, that's a terrible.
Yeah, like there are all kinds of shit, all kinds of things.
Man, I've had friends who were in the military and they went to Afghanistan and wherever, and I've said to them, I could never do that. Like I could never go fight in a war. It seems terrifying.
Yeah,
And I'm thankfully now past the age where they'll even accept me.
yeah.
They could we're safe. We're both safe, right?
Essentially, I mean, unless they just. Let's say send a whole wave of fucking soldiers and they just neutralize them, just like with a laser gun. They're like, "All right,
Have some kind of
you
plasma ray.
fat old guys, fucking get out
You're up.
there."
We're
Yeah.
increasing it to 45. You're
Yeah.
like, damn it. Yeah, I don't. I mean, yeah. Could you imagine a draft?
Yeah.
It would just be a bunch of influencers in the army.
Oh, that'd be murder, dude.
They'd have to reshape the helmets to accompany broccoli hair.
The company webcams.
Yeah.
Hey guys,
They're all taking selfies
hey,
of
what's up?
like mortars hitting them. I'm out here in the battlefield.
Hey, what's up, guys? We're in war right now. And it's about to get fucking litty.
It's so lame. The other side is trying so hard.
To kill us. They're trying. They're trying.
There's just influencer soldiers just criticizing the enemy for effort.
Could you imagine trying to kill somebody in nose boots? Like, it's so cringe.
They have a strategy. They met before this. How lame.
Yeah. They don't even let their women like uncover their sleeves. That's so sus.
Yeah.
It's like fucking.
Oh my god. They should draft most of YouTube.
God damn it, dude. Yeah.
Or a reverse draft. Let's do a reverse draft of YouTube where we could only save like 100 YouTube personalities, and then the rest go to war. That would be good.
Oh my, OMG, boot camp is so tough. Like, how am I gonna get anything done when this guy keeps yelling at me? I don't even know what a steer is.
So, I think, yeah, Vietnam was pretty. It's a pretty wild. That seems like the most Well, World War II seems wild. The World Wars seem insane
Yeah.
to fight in, but Vietnam seems like its own thing, sort of. Because the other war, once we got past there, I feel like we got our technology and our military up to where, like you said, it wasn't even fair. It's like,
Yeah. Well, then I mean, once we got past Vietnam, then the world was aware of the technological advancements that the United States military had created,
yeah,
as far as like their weaponry,
with the help of some German scientists.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, not even just. Just like you got to think about it, like napalm was created in Vietnam.
Oh yeah.
You
So
know.
do you remember the old school formula for napalm to make homemade napalm?
Yeah, it was like was those little peanuts, packy peanuts.
With styrofoam and gasoline,
Okay, yeah,
and you let it sit and eat the. You let the styrofoam soak in gasoline, and then it melts down
and it creates like this.
into like what I guess that was supposed to be like mock napalm. You know, it's not like whatever napalm is.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
But
But I don't know if that even works. That was like anarchist cookbook stuff, you know.
yeah.
Remember that book? Did you ever read that book?
No, because I didn't want
You
to
knew
put on
about
a
it?
watch list.
You knew about it back
Oh
then?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Those,
I wonder if that's still a thing or still around because the internet, you know, it's gotta
Yeah.
be on obsolete.
I don't know. I don't even want to look it up. You
There
know?
was a book,
Yeah, it's called Anarchist Cookbook.
anarchist cookbook, yes, but another book. It was like a hitman's manual, and that was published, and it was like a legitimate like how to murder people professionally, like a professional hitman.
Yeah.
It was like a Did you ever hear that one?
I
forget the name of it,
but I mean, what's happened is like YouTube. I watched like one Sopranos, someone getting whacked compilation one
Yeah.
time. Like, I guess I was watching something about the Goodfellas.
yeah,
And I fell asleep with YouTube playing. I woke up to fucking a compilation of all the murders in Sopranos
Oh my god.
on my phone,
Yeah.
and then all my suggested shorts on YouTube were literally interviews of mob hitmen, mob guys, assassins
Oh wow.
being interviewed about how they killed people and stuff. And I
Some
was
of those dudes have podcasts.
yeah.
Yeah, I think we talked about that.
Yeah, one of the Francesi guys, the who worked with Gotti and all that, those whole
yeah.
the Gambino crime family.
The Bull,
Oh, Sammy the Bull,
Sammy the Bull,
Gravino,
yeah.
right?
I think, yeah,
he's got a podcast.
I think he had a podcast or something. So one of those dudes. Like,
yeah, and then
Crazy.
and then I've seen like there was so they had a documentary with the Iceman, Richard.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Do you believe him or do you think he's full of shit?
Here's the problem though: is when you're dealing with sociopaths, there's no talent because sociopaths' their whole MO is to lull you in a false sense of security.
Yeah.
So they're natural liars,
Yeah,
but they also have done fucking heinous things. That's why they're in that world. So there's no telling what is real, what's not. You know.
Yeah, it's so fucking wild.
Especially when you live in where you're from a world of omerta, the code of the mob, like, we'll let you know what we want to let you know, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I watched a couple I don't think Richard Krasinski's his name. I think that's the Unabomber.
Kuklinski.
Kuklinski, that's what it was. Richard Kuklinski. He fits the MO of all serial killers, though.
Yeah.
Of being able to function and be a family man and do all this stuff, and then him talking about murder, even if he's just talking about murder, the way he's talking about it.
Yeah, it's so cold about it.
It's so
different.
It's just him telling, because he was telling about there was like a story where he bought a crossbow and he wanted to see how it worked, so he just found a guy jogging one day and just shot him with a crossbow.
Ugh.
Like, now, I don't know if there's fucking a crossbow death. Did he get rid of the body? What did he do with the guy?
Yeah.
The way he was describing it was he just shot a dude with a crossbow and then drove away, type of thing.
Yeah.
I was like, so is there records of somebody in New York City with a crossbow in the face? Like,
I know, it's so weird, and you don't know, because I've watched those, and back years ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that guy's a fucking monster.
Yeah.
And then later on, I've watched stuff where people are like, he's completely full of shit. He's killed like 2 people. And then I've seen people, go back and forth. Like, no, he's a sociopath, and he's like this. The only I remember though from that, whoever interviews him, it was like a psychiatrist or whatever.
Yeah.
He starts talking about the guy's dad, and like he goes, he starts telling him about why you're a psychopath.
Yeah.
And like he starts going into it, and he starts mentioning the guy's dad, and that's the only time you see a reaction out of him, when he's getting like analyzed.
Yeah.
And you could see him getting like mad and looking like vulnerable, sort of. You
Yeah.
know, it's very subtle, but
It taps into his emotions a little bit.
Yeah, it's the only time you really, because he talks about killing, and he's just like, if I killed this guy and put him in a barrel, and he's just like, he's like, I went to the store and picked up some fucking soup,
like it was a honey-do list. Oh my god, fuck! I forgot to get the acid to melt the bun.
God, that's fucking.
There
nuts.
was one of the things I have seen is with any of these videos is where there's like a glimpse of humanity that comes through for a lot of them, is when whoever's interviewing them asks if there's a hit or something that they regret.
Yeah,
that's when it kicks in. Is like where they like, oh yeah, I did it. I was following orders, but so with the Iceman, one of his was this guy was like, he goes a lot of times when they know they're about to die, they'll start crying and pleading and praying to God and stuff. And so he goes in a moment of like true sadistic, he goes, all right, I'm going to pause it. I want you to pray to your God right now. And he prayed, and he goes, I want you to pray to him that he strikes me dead right now. And if that happens,
did he say he gave him 30 minutes or something like that?
Yeah, he gave him like 30 minutes or something.
And he said, if your God could strike me dead in the next 30 minutes,
you're good.
Yeah.
And then he waited, literally just waited around.
Yeah, 30 minutes.
And then he goes, I guess not. And then he fucking did the hit on the dude.
Yeah, that stuck with me too. That's a fucking wild story.
That's insane.
So yeah, even if like that's like that would be like if that were in a movie, that would be like a legendary movie scene. You know, like people would talk about that in reverence of like if it were like a Scorsese film or like so like they'd be like, oh man, that scene is so wild. I can't believe how sadistic that character is. And this dude is just talking about it like it happened, probably, and it probably did.
The dogs don't like when we talk about serial killers.
Yeah, they get it. Let me ask you this: do you have we're like the shut up the criminal psychology or like the psychological makeup you have to be a criminal. Do you find that interesting, or do you envy that at all? Because I'm very much like a rule follower. Yeah. And like I don't I have like a guilty conscience.
Yeah.
So if I do something wrong, if it fucks with me, and I feel guilty, so I just try to do things right, so I don't worry about it. Yeah. And so I think about I'm fascinated with crime stuff and killers, because I'm like, how do they do this and not have so much anxiety and watch spelunking videos? Yeah. How do criminals deal with the anxiety of being a criminal?
Well, going back, like I have a I've calmed down over time, but like I was known to have like a very they're pulling. Right.
Hey.
Right now we got a mosh pit of dogs right now. It's pretty wild.
Okay. Get out.
I think these dogs could commit murder and not be affected.
What were you saying? You calm down?
Yeah. So these dogs are losing their shit right now.
Yeah, they're chasing each other.
Okay,
sorry.
No, yeah. So, Are you humping them?
Yeah, fella humps to calm the dogs down. So.
Yeah, that'll calm you down. You
Yeah.
guys get into a fist fight and you just starts humping you in the
You're
face.
getting raped.
You're like,
You're like, oh my god.
you want to fucking go, bro? What the fuck you doing?
All right, I'll behave.
You got me. You got me. I was talking mad shit. You're right. Get your dick out of my face.
Dogs are fucking crazy.
Oh,
I was so excited. You know, like, so you or anybody, the one or two people who are listening,
Yeah.
I was, if you're in a relationship, you always get excited to have time to yourself.
Yeah.
And my wife was going on a business trip to Vegas, and I was all excited. I was like, oh, I'll have an easy night. I was like,
Yeah.
maybe we'll record a podcast, but
Yeah.
I was like, at least my dogs will be good. And then this one dropped off. And it's been a fucking madhouse.
Yeah.
All right, so you're saying
Yeah,
you
so-
calm down a lot?
I calm down a lot, but I mean, to this day, I still have the ability to like snap, just like
Oh, get angry?
get angry, very angry, to the
Yeah.
point where like, you know, I might want to put my fist in someone's face until
Yeah,
blood
yeah.
comes out, you know, and that's because I came up in an environment where,
We do have the Big Lebowski dynamic.
yeah. I came up in an environment of like just aggression and not just in the household, but like
This aggression
beyond it.
will not stand.
Aggressive world.
Yeah.
And then I one of the things that in that deep dive of the gangster world and all that stuff, I started seeing they interviewed the Los Zetos and like those cartel gang hitmen.
Yeah.
Those guys are way more ruthless.
Oh, yeah.
They're unbelievably like and it's
They're
just,
like a different species of
yeah. And also because the mob work, the American mafia and hitman and stuff in this country, a lot of those guys are indoctrinated as young adults
yeah.
or even grown men. Whereas those cartel guys, those guys were indoctrinated as kids,
Yeah.
like child soldiers essentially, and just the way that they don't value life for anybody is unbelievable. It's
I
like-
know. Yeah, that's the scariest part. It's like nothing. That's what it's fucking. Oh
Yeah,
my
so
God.
like to just pull up on another guy and just shoot him in his face and then walk away and feel nothing that's just par for the course for that world.
Yeah.
And so it sometimes it's just the environment, because if I came up in the environment that I did, but didn't have parents that would instill right and wrong, you know, even if it was through spanking or you know or something like that, discipline.
Yeah.
I could easily see myself getting pulled into that world. I've said it before, like you know, like I did the things that I did at the mall, you know, in the course of doing
Yeah,
it
because
for
you were
my
and
job.
you were on like the right side of it.
I was on
but
the right side,
it
quote
takes,
unquote.
It takes a certain kind of person to be security in that environment, like that kind of.
Yeah, and
Like
and
you
just-
have to be really fucking tough.
well, I was just violent. I was ready and raring to go, ready
Yeah,
to go.
yeah.
And I was on the quote unquote right side of things. But imagine if, you know,
But I guess it's sort of like some cops. They're like, you know, they're like, oh, now I have license to be aggressive.
yeah,
You know?
and so it's just when you, I think it's just the environment.
Yeah.
You know, and you said when you were young you had that near death experience. You know,
Yeah.
with you, and so sometimes that changes things, changes your perspective.
Oh yeah.
You know, I didn't have I got hit in the head with rocks and shit like that before, and like accident type stuff.
Yeah.
But nothing that like nearly killed me. Nothing that would shake my, you know, like you was your friend passed away, right? In that same incident?
he got hit by. We were at a birthday party and we went outside. It was storming,
Yeah.
and this big, it was like huge trees in Long Island, like these big oak trees or like big old trees, and this big tree fell and it hit him and me, and it killed him, and it knocked me out. It hit me like across the shoulders, but I woke up and crawled out and yeah, so he died, but I was like really quiet before then, before that happened. But I always like, my brain was always like, I would think of funny things to say,
Yeah.
and I would just stay quiet because I was sort of reserved. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then after that happened, I remember thinking like, a little kid version of sort of like, oh, like life is sort of chaos and like anything could happen really at any time, even though for the most part it's like ordered. society
Yeah.
keeps order for the most part, but
Yeah.
at the same time, like, that was just like a freak accident, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Now, imagine if you were in that situation where you saw your friend pass away, you almost died, and in the other outside factors in your world, you didn't have any support from your parents, that type of thing,
yeah.
and then knowing that just death is it's just gonna get you.
Oh, yeah.
So you could easily even in your environment based off of that easily got pulled into just being like a sociopath. Like,
Oh,
death
yeah.
death comes for all of us. So what the fuck? I'm gonna take lives. Who cares? That type of thing.
I think it, it definitely pulled me into, like, escapism, or like, which I think a lot of people pursue, you know?
Yeah.
But
The entertainment industry essentially is pretty much based off of that.
yes, and I find myself, and it's something I noticed like over the last couple of years, but I'll rewatch like old shows that I love
Yeah.
over and over again. Like I watch Seinfeld. I'll usually do it in blocks. I'll be like, oh, I'm watching Seinfeld at this point, and I'll watch the whole thing over the course of like weeks and weeks. Like I'll just watch it here and there, but I'll just stick with one show, and then I'll switch and I'll go to another show.
Yeah.
But I do it with like Simpsons, Seinfeld, like.
What's
current-
the psychology on that possibly? Is it just to
I
surround
think it's
yourself
like
with something
to
familiar?
keep things the same,
Okay.
and it's like an attempt to try to not have. I don't know. I wish it's psychology. Call in psychologists. But I interpret it as like attempting to control, or, because men specifically, like if something works, we seek pattern. Your brain seeks patterns anyway. Human brain seeks patterns, but men especially, because we're simple.
Yeah.
So we're like, if this works, you do it again.
Yeah.
If I wore this shirt and I got laid, I'm wearing this shirt all the time. Because
That's also like I go back to discussions of why, like, for example, why more women aren't in comedy. It's a familiarity thing. Like a lot of men are in due to things that we do because of repetition and familiarity.
yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
And also I think now that you told me, like, potentially why you watch a whole season of Seinfeld in one stretch is because the season, even though the show is based off chaos, all the characters are always doing something to get themselves into something. It wraps up nicely at the end of the episode, and then on to the next one, and it's all entertainment. Whereas your real world, you got a wife, you got dogs, everything's so unpredictable. Women are so like this and so many layers to like what they want to do. I mean, down to like, what do you want to eat? I don't know. What do you like? Oh, fucking Christ!
Yeah.
And then the dogs, like right now, like you thought you were gonna have the weekend. Another dog got dropped in your lap, and it's like just chaos.
Yeah.
And so that's probably why with football or with anything, action figures, men, they're like everything about our world. A lot of people don't realize everything about our world is like us trying to manage other people's chaos.
Yeah.
That's
That's great. Yeah, it's very insightful.
that's why like moms are always tired. It's like I got to handle my kids because the kids are chaos.
Yeah.
But with men,
God, could you imagine being a mom?
what?
It seems hard being a mom.
Oh yeah,
Because it's like, it's hard because it's like constant attention in multiple places and constant problem solving, but also for a long time I feel like kids entertainment is just a nightmare, like kids music and stuff.
Yeah.
But I guess they probably like take joy in the joy that their kid feels,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like when I give my dog a bone.
Yeah. It's like
I'm trying to work on dog parent versus real parent material.
Yeah.
And I thought of like well, I'll tell you so we can talk about it.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. Like for example, one of the things, like I got the thing going on in my life where like my dad, he can't do the things he can't. So jumping into like a caretaker role So
Yes.
I understand more like just how tired like someone is when you have to like literally help someone get up and help feed them and help them get dressed and every day, every fucking day, you know.
Right.
And you want to get mad, but you're like they can't help what happened
Right.
to their
Yeah.
body,
Yeah.
that type of thing. And so I can only imagine like dealing with it like a kid, you know. But for me, it's a mental fuck because it's my dad. You know, he's my
Right. Yeah.
parent.
That's like it's like you view them you view your parents as like
like
I
a
don't
pillar,
know.
some type of
Yeah,
pillar.
some sort of pillar or like a. It's weird when that turns off. You know, like
Yeah.
that when you reach like your whatever age it would be, like your late teens or 20s or
Yeah,
30, whatever age. I guess is different for everybody. But when that like, or like when your parents will come to you and ask you for advice on like something,
yeah,
and you're like, ah, fuck.
yeah. What?
You're
what-
just a guy or like a lady.
Yeah.
You're like, ah, fuck.
the curtains lifted and I see who's behind Oz.
Yeah.
You know.
But yeah, you idealize your parents for so long.
Yeah.
Uh,
And then another thing is like with that though, it's like constantly like I very much not at peace, because I could be sitting down and next thing you know I gotta go help him do something, or I'll get a call from I'll be out and about and I'll get a call from my mom, and she's more capable physically, but she's also in the caretaker role too, and so it drains her because she's older, you know.
yeah.
And so then it's like, now I got to go run errands for both of them, you know? And it's like, now it feels like I have two fucking kids sometimes.
Right.
And it's like, then I was like, oh, what about people who have two fucking kids? Like,
Yeah.
holy shit. I didn't even, I didn't even. So now I know, like, when it got to the point now where, like, when parents come to my shows
Yeah.
or whatever, I, like, thank them more. Or people I know
Yeah,
that are
you
in care.
appreciate. Yeah,
You're like, yeah, because, well, also, I appreciate that this is their peacetime.
Right,
They came
yeah.
to watch me and their peace. They could be going so. A lot of times you want quiet. Like, why would you want to come to a show and
know,
hear
yeah.
me yell punchlines at you? Like, it's wild.
oh, people love comedy. You know,
Yeah.
it's hard to. You seem to retain a love and passion for comedy.
Well, for me,
Always. You don't ever get jaded or feel like.
I get jaded. Oh fuck yeah. I get jaded because I.
You want to hear jaded? You know the headline I read today.
Oh, what's that?
Stephen Colbert show to be taken over by Taylor Tomlinson.
Oh.
I was at my office job reading that, and I was like, I gotta go for a walk. I loved it. I'm like I'm. She's awesome, and I'm
Yeah.
proud of her. But I'm just like, fuck, holy,
Yeah.
that like threw me.
Yeah, there's a couple comics that if they inserted themselves in that particular headline, I'd be like, I got to go for several walks.
Yeah.
I got to go for I got to go for a climb. I got to climb Everest. I got There's
It's so wild. It's
Yeah.
it's so funny. But you're just like, geez, ugh.
Yeah.
The only one who well, there's off mic. I'll
Yeah,
tell
yeah,
you
yeah,
about the one person I know. Anyway, go
Yeah,
ahead.
No, it's for okay. So I get jaded. Obviously, I think part of my problem is, all my upbringing side, all the environments I came up with. At the end of the day, I'm a very caring, giving person.
Yeah,
I want to do more, but I don't have the funds to do the things I want to do for other people, based on what I make. And it's frustrating to see people that are like so successful, but they have no intentions of helping and giving back that way at all.
yeah.
They have no, because because the industry rewards selfishness. Oh shit!
Hey,
Hey.
okay. All right. Sorry.
I didn't press anything. Did I?
No, you're good.
Okay, cool. All right.
We're good. We're at
Yeah.
40 minutes.
All right.
Do
But
it.
yeah, it's so it's a factor that, but like what doesn't create jadedness for me is I've given up so much to do this. I've given up being a dad, being married, having a house,
Yeah.
stability. Essentially, it's the only constant I have in my life.
Right.
It's the only constant. Like, so many things have come and gone. People have died. People have moved away. Girls I've dated are now married. Things like
Yeah.
that. It's the only constant I've had for 15 years. And so that's the piece that this gives me is like, even though and there's still sense of mystery, because even though it's the only constant, I know that when I go to another show, when I do another room, when I do a venue, I don't know what the crowd's gonna be like. I don't know if they're
Yeah.
gonna like me. I have these jokes, and
Yeah,
these jokes are tried and true, but every audience is different. I don't know what they're gonna respond to.
Yeah,
There's
and the organic moments that all shows create, like whatever every set, there's always an organic kind of interaction or moment or dynamic that
yeah,
comes up, and that's always fun to discover and mess with and interact with. Like
Yeah.
it's like it makes comedy feel alive.
yeah,
Into outside, like I love doing material. I love generating new jokes and stuff.
yeah,
Um, I don't even want to call it crowd work, but like I don't know, more like when you're doing material and you're able to like
off
connect.
the cuff.
Yeah,
When
off
you're
the
going
cuff.
off the
Yeah,
cuff.
but when it comes like organic.
Yeah,
I like crowd work that turns into material like stuff.
Yeah.
I hate like hacky crowd work, but
yeah.
you see like so much. Like
Yeah, but sometimes, but because of the we talked about this before, because of the crowd work success videos
clips and stuff.
and stuff like that, it creates an environment where now the audience is like, oh, I'm helping these guys,
Right? Yeah, they yell out.
And
stuff.
so the thing is that's just another hurdle you have to navigate. And
I like that as a comic. I like the interaction with the. I don't like someone yelling out. Like
Yeah.
if I was trying to do a bit, and I was like thinking it out, and someone
Yeah.
just yells out in the middle. You're like, fuck,
Yeah.
you throw off your timing and shit.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I have I go back. I fall in and out of love with comedy. I used to like love it, like
Yeah.
you said. It was like all love.
yeah,
And then I've wavered on it,
yeah.
and I try my best to fall in love and stay in love with it, and it's hard. But I feel like you have to do it more. Like the more you do it, the more you love it.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like that. It's that dynamic.
And I noticed that for me in my life, like the times when I really got the love, the passion starts to lose its luster, are one of two things. Usually it's when it's like any job where you put in time and effort and you're good at what you do.
Yeah.
And then you see so and so got a promotion or a raise, and you're like, "What the fuck, man?" You start losing. You're like, you start losing. You stop caring as much. You're like, well, the world's unfair. And yes, I understand the world's unfair, but it's like, come on, man. Like seriously, like I don't know. Sometimes that happens, and then the other things are when the things in my personal life start going good. When I find somebody and I'm dating somebody, or
Yeah.
like just the things that like, because a lot of times the comedy for me is also an escape from the reality of certain things. So when my actual reality is good, it's like, oh well, I mean, all right, I'm gonna do this because now it's a job. Comedy's a job. It's like you start your job at, I don't know, you're a kid, and you get your first job at Walgreens or something like that. You're like, hell yeah, and then you're like, I love this job, and then you find a girl, and then now your job is taking you away from her. You can't spend enough time with her.
You're like, I could be having sex.
I could be having sex, but now I got to stock these Snickers bars. What the
Yeah.
fuck? Then you just like you plow through it because it's the thing that now you've created to where this is the thing that makes money for me.
Yeah.
All these like side hustles. These are things that makes money. It's like any job. I'm trying to find more passion into it, like to motivate myself, because I know mentally when I get to that point with any job that I've ever had, where I get to a point where it's just like clock in, clock out, whatever, then I lose passion and then I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And I've experienced that several times during stand up. But at the end of the day, this is like the thing I wanted to do.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and it's like we're so lucky to be able to to even be able to be allowed to go up in front of a room and just say whatever you want is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But it's like to be able to have done it for years and be able to express yourself on stage and to make people laugh is such a cool feeling.
Yeah.
You know, it's truly like one of the greatest feelings. You know,
Yeah.
like getting like killing on stage
Yeah.
is unlike. There's very few experiences I feel like I could list that are a similar feeling. You know.
Yeah. And then another thing is, like, I've done a lot of jobs. I put myself out there above and beyond for a lot of the jobs I've done. Pretty much every job, honestly. And I haven't had the level of validation from any job that I had from stand-up. Like, just the stuff that I hear from people after shows. It's enough to be like, wow, man. Like, wow, okay. I didn't see it that way. I thought I was talking about my penis this whole time. But apparently this reminds you of your son that passed away in a car accident two years ago. But I appreciate. I don't even know
like
what to
my
say.
son died. He also had a penis.
Yeah, he had a penis, and he loved talking about it. And somehow you remind me of John. You know.
No, that is really cool, and it feels like it's true. Like with most jobs or whatever, you don't really get like the reaction or the feedback that you do from.
I've saved literal lives, and two of my jobs, and I don't. There's no follow up to that. You know, like when I did chest compressions and mouth to mouth on this, like I think it was a derelict. I don't know who he was outside of the mall. When I did triage of a gunshot victim, all these different people, you know, I helped save their lives, and I don't get any follow up. I don't know. They don't even know who I am.
Yeah,
I don't exist, which is a good thing because I don't know if you've ever taken a CPR class.
I have,
but they a lot of times they tell you don't give them your real name because a lot of people try to sue you. Like if you do, a lot of times people don't realize that when you do actual chest compressions,
I've vaguely heard. Yeah, I kind of remember hearing that.
You cracked your sternum. You bruised your or you break ribs and stuff, and that's medical costs, and so that's expensive, and so they'll come looking for some way to make money, and even though you saved their lives, they'll be like, oh, what was that guy's name? Fuck it, I'm gonna sue him. You know, that type of shit. That's wild.
A litigious society we live in.
Oh my god, dude. But the thing is, like, even if that wasn't the case, like, I don't ever get a follow up on these people. I never get we never get to have share that story. I never get to tell, you know, because like some of them were not conscious, and then they came to, and they're, you know, I helped them come back, you know, and with comedy, it's like I tell a fucking fart joke, and then someone's like, dude, you know, I haven't laughed in like 3 weeks since that bitch fucking served me paper. You know, like, but I get to do the follow up in 2 hours time. You know, I do the show, and then literally after that, I'm shaking hands and I'm talking to people, and I'm asking. First, I always ask them like, why? How are you here? Why are you here? Like, was it an ad in the paper? You know, because I always want to know, like, am I the reason you're here, or is it because it was like a Groupon or something like that? You know.
But they're like, what is this comedy thing,
dude? And that's even wilder. It was like this past weekend, I had a couple. They looked on the ad and they saw me and they read my bio and they mentioned mall security. She worked mall security and they came.
That's awesome.
I was like, what the fuck? All right. I mean, I'm not famous and I'm still broke as fuck after 15 years, but that's pretty cool. You know what I mean?
No, that it's amazing. Yeah, it's so cool to connect with people. You know, like on it is interesting, like just seeing the different levels of it, you know, like but comedy is good. It's a good thing, you know.
Yeah, it's got to be what the hell? All right. It's got to be like with anything that you think is just mundane. Like for example, sports athletes. Like they just think I'm just throwing a ball. I'm just hitting a ball. I'm just fucking running track. And then afterwards you meet someone that's like, my kid was in an accident and they told him he'd never walk again, and now he's trying to run because what you do. Like that's so you're like, what the fuck? It's weird to quantify my fart and dick jokes.
Yeah.
You know, in an emotional standpoint. You know?
That must be wild for. They must just not even. I don't know. I wonder. Do you think athletes? Because like people look up to athletes a lot more than comedians. I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think athletes like take that in, or do you think they must just not think about it or compartmentalize it?
Oh, I mean, it's got to be. There's got to be a compartmentalization, because if they took in everything from the emotions of the people, then it would also take in people like trying to boo them and like get in their head.
Yeah.
You have to like block it out.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
But I mean, I think another thing is because no one, maybe more so athletes more than us, comics and stuff, but no one considers like comics heroes. They consider sports athletes heroes. They consider, like
I
people.
think I agree. I feel like a small, not heroes, but they like. I think they admire large, the biggest of big comics.
Yeah.
Some people admire
Well, because we're in
them,
the public spotlight. But I think if you compare us to like rock stars,
oh yeah, that's
or
not
sports
even,
athletes,
it's not.
we are comparably
We're
are
like
we're like
the bottom
garbage
of the
men.
barrel of entertainment,
Yeah, and also I think what you
us
made,
in strip clubs,
you made you made a very important distinction.
except they make money.
Like the big famous comics, people revere them as heroes. But I'm talking about like for me to hear that. I'm just a regional hired gun. I'm an adequate hired gun, but I'm not famous. My name doesn't draw butts to seats. So for me to hear appreciation from someone, it would be like someone who does it. I've been doing it a long time, but I don't really get that validation quite often. So it'd be like if a fucking garbage man had someone take out their trash to the corner and be like, dude, what you do is fucking amazing. He'd be like, oh, what the you know what I do is pretty good. Yeah, I mean,
what
honestly,
you do is important.
yeah, and honestly, we don't think garbage men enough. We don't think janitors.
I wave to them very friendly.
Yeah.
I'll be walking the dogs and the garbage man will come by. I'm thankful. Jacksonville is pretty amazing with it. Like you could there's like a bulk day.
Yeah,
They call it, and you could basically put a Buick on the curb and it's gone.
yeah,
It's like it's like fucking magic. Like we moved in here, I had a lot of stuff, and like any once in a while you put a mountain of scrap
yeah.
on your front thing and it disappears and you're like,
I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know who they got to do the contract for the waste management for Jacksonville.
Yeah,
I wish
the mob.
I wish they got them the same company to do the contract for mass transit here because it's awful.
Yeah, I know.
mean, granted, the city's so huge and everything. That's another.
But that would be another reason. Like they should do like a rail.
Yeah.
Or do you think it would get? They should do like a St. Augustine, San Marco, like do like a loop, a southern loop.
Yeah.
A southern loop and a
Yeah.
northern
The only
loop.
thing with all these infrastructure changes, it would require either taxation or tolls or things like that. And every time they go put it in, it gets voted against. The people are like, no, I don't want to
pay.
And I get it. I understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's already so much.
Aren't they going to build a new Jaguar stadium now?
Yeah.
Is that taxpayer money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but once again, that's being disputed again in like the local court
the
system.
outside's going to be real, like all silver, right, and like shiny. It's always sunny here, so it's just going to blind people. It's going to
there's gonna be like a condominium over there across the river
They're
that's
gonna
like
be cooking like ants.
fucking yeah. Goddamn. It's gonna be like Sid from Toy Story. Fucking, or the condos are have to drop their prices because it's like when you live like next to a train station.
Yeah.
Or something, you're like, well, normally it would be 200 or 2,000 a month, but we have to drop it 800 because the A train goes every 10 minutes. Like.
I always wanted to live in a loft, like an apartment loft with exposed brick.
Yeah,
and like one big open room, and it's like, that would be like if I was like a bachelor, that would be like, I would like that.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I've actually delivered it to a couple of meals to take some similar places like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're much smaller. It's essentially like a house where the bottom area is a living room, and they converted the upper rooms into like little bedrooms.
Oh yeah, they do it. Yeah, the little crawl space. I know it's probably not as nice as. It probably gets weird.
No, but what you described, I mean, that would be pretty cool because it's very communal.
Yeah.
But a lot of people,
It's like what's his name in Zoolander? Owen Wilson,
yeah.
Hansel. Everyone's skateboarding and on acid and shit. Body painting.
Oh fuck.
Well,
Man, this episode got wild. What did we talk about? The Viet Cong. Fucking.
we went to Vietnam and we talked about
Now we're in
anxiety and comedy.
Then we talked about mob
The
hitmen,
mob.
and we ended on local infrastructure
Local infrastructure deals and
and
recommendations.
and taxation.
More walkable areas in Jacksonville, please.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, it's not cool to be in a Vietnam tunnel.
But it definitely is cool to be foolish.
Hell yeah. Say bye, fella.